Hello, this is Paul with Logics Magazine. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Fanuc Robot programming. I had a YouTube viewer ask if I would do something on robotics, and so this is what we're going to do. We're going to get started, all right? So I took Fanuc Robotic programming course. Forget, somewhere in Ohio, I think is where the training was. Been a while back. Actually only a couple of years ago. Anyhow, so I took the handling tool, operation, and programming. Got my little certificate right here, right there. All right. So thought you guys like to see that. And they give you this huge book here. This is the I'll see if you can see it, Fanuc America Corporation Handling Tool Operations. It's pretty massive. There's a lot in here. So what I thought I would do is, because I have access to RoboGuide, a little bit of it anyhow, and I kind of thought I'd introduce you to RoboGuide a little bit and kind of walk you through some of the very first exercises and lab programs that we had to work with. All right, so that you kind of get a feel of what the Fanuc Robotic programming course was like. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's pull that back. So what I wanted to do here, let's go over here and, okay. So what they have here is at FanucAmerica.com, /support/training, we have Fanuc America certified training, right? And I believe in the background here, you see a picture of these robots. That is the facility that I went to take my class. I've been the Moto Man. I've been to a couple of different online and offline training for robotics programs over the years. So I have some familiarity. Yeah, here we go. Rochester Hills, Michigan. That's where the course was. I made it interesting enough. There was a place that I went to, Steak, and I made a little note in my Evernotes that to remember if I ever go back there to go there again. Anyhow, this is their website. So through work, in this particular case, I went through work, a company I was working for, an engineering company, and took the Fanuc robotics training. So it was 4 or 5 days, and it was a good training course, right? I think the instructor thought I was an idiot, but hey, I had fun. That's all that mattered, right? Okay, so cool. Now, for you guys, there is an opportunity for some online training if you're in a remote location. So they have a Fanuc Robot eLearn online training. I've not taken this course, right? So what I did do is I got the Fanuc RoboGuide CD. So it's I think it was for 30 days, and you have access to all of the Fanuc robotic software. So we're going to go through a little bit of that today. Matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to dig into the book a little bit, and we're going to do a couple of the lab exercises. All right. Now I'll show you several other things that's there. So anyhow. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So their online training. Now it's kind of pricey and it's kind of interesting, but it's a good start, right? So they have the online training that you can sign up for here, and this training I'm not sure that's what I've got pulled up or not. All right, not sure what's going on there, but here on their page, there is some learning content that you can learn, right? So I've got one pulled up here, and this here is an example of some of their short introductory online coursework that you can go through. Now, without the software, it's all visual, right? You're just watching slides and how they do things. So it's kind of limited. That's why it's important to get the software, get access to the software. Now, the access to the software, interestingly enough, when we go back here, they do have a software access to the Fanuc software for $375 for 30 days. So if you want to get hands-on with the software that I'll introduce you to today, it's one of the few options you have, because the Fanuc software is very expensive, to my understanding. So I've just got access to it, like I said, through the CD and through a friend of mine who's got the software. So for his work, so that's helpful for me. Anyhow, I thought I'd introduce you to a few things regarding the robotics. So there's a lot to be had here on this online training. You can dig into this a little bit yourself. So I'd recommend going to fanucamerica.com and then look under training and support training and robot eLearn. All right. Okay. So now, what is this Robo Guide? What is this software? Right. So now, again, there's coursework here online that will kind of walk you through. It's a software package like any other. And it's 3D and even 4D software. I have not explored all the different options that there are, so I can't say I know everything about it by any stretch of imagination. I have done a lot of work with live robots, so this software is a little bit new to me. But what's pretty cool is it's a lot like a real robot. We have a pendant, just like you do in the real world. And because it's 3D and even 4D, I can navigate around this software. I can move into the robot. I can move it around. I can do all kinds of really neat things with this software. Now, the great thing is whatever program you create here, you can download to a real robot, and it will run that program. And you can simulate it here, all right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what we can do, all right? So we can put this on, right, just to start, and hit shift. So now we're ready to do a few things. One of the things I want you to look at is if I double click the robot, right? So I have some options here that to make some adjustments here, to give me some serializing the robot, right? So I can make it visible. I can put different things. So let's take a look at what we can do. The transparency. So that's an interesting one, and we'll come down and apply it. And I can actually turn that robot a little transparent, right? Okay, I like it being out there a little bit more, right? So I can actually see it properly. There's another one here. I can show the work envelope. So this is the work envelope that the robot will work in. It can't go any higher or outside of this little bubble. So you can add in tables and workspaces and all kinds of stuff in here to actually create a real world, simulated real world work cell. So that's kind of cool. We're not going to get into that today, but okay, so we'll take that envelope out, right? Okay, so we can show robot collisions, lock all. Okay, enable jog, programs visible when the controller is not selected. All right, so there's several things we can do here to set up our robot to get a kind of a good starting point. Now, if I close out my robot or my pendant, right, I can just come up here and hit pendant. Okay, I can hit pendant. And it comes in, and what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and, while that's loading, I'm going to go ahead and move in a little closer. And we're going to do a few things. What we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of the labs that's right here in the manual that I that I got during my training, right? Okay, so there's a lot of theory that you will learn. I think it's sometimes best to let's just have some activities, and then we'll talk about theory and everything else as we move forward, right? Okay, so I'm going to pick coordinates. Now, two we're going to talk about, one we're going to talk about today is just joint, right? Joint is our robot coordination, right? So what we're going to do is, let's take a look at program here, and we're going to run. Now here you'll notice that we have a a 3D version of what it is that we are looking at right here inside the pendant, right? So I'm going to move this over here. See if I can get this booger to move. All right. Okay, I pull up my pendant. I seem to be losing my mouse here. All right. Okay, so I'm pulling up my pendant. You notice we have some programming here, pick and place, right? All right, so now we have our program up here, right? Okay, so you started up here at the top line. It's a joint, right? And how do you get there to determine that J? You're going to pick coordinates. You pick joint, right? That's the coordinate for this starting on this line. Okay, the 100% fine, that is our speed. So we can bring our speed up and down right here. 0 to 100%. You got fine and very fine. We won't get into that at the moment. But we're going to bring this down a little bit because I want you to be able to see what's going on. Now what you're going to see is this black box rotate down as we move through the program. Now I'm going to put this in step mode right here, and that will just step through this program. And basically what we're doing is taking the end of tool, right? It's got a little, you see a little green ball right there, and it's taking it from this palette and that ring and moving it over here to this one. That's it. That's all we're doing. Okay, but we're going to learn a few things from this today. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead. I think we are ready to. Okay, let's reset, initialized, and we're going to go ahead and put enter, and we're going to go ahead and test this program out. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to begin. Let's back this out just a little bit, and let's go ahead and step through this program. Boom. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now what we're ready to do is, that's it. That's all we're trying to do, right? Okay, so so now what we're going to do is we're going to take it out of step. We're going to put in continuous. And when I hit this forward, it's just going to run through this whole program. It's going to go back to this starting point first, then it'll run through the whole program. Okay, it's back to the first, right? Now it's running the whole program. That's it. That's the whole program right here. Just a couple of lines, right? All right, now I can run this. Oh, let's clear a fault. And I can run this backwards to the start if I chose. Okay, now let's say I wanted to move this. This is a very important task here, right? I wanted to change this a little bit. So I'm going to click on this. Now you see the Y showing up and the X and the Z. So these are Cartesian motions, right? Cartesian. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just drag this in the Y and the X, and let's see what that's really done here. All right, so we're coming straight, follow the blue line up, over, and then down. Okay, this last line is not relevant at this moment. So if I clicked on this, right, and brought it down, I could bring it down so it's a little bit of a straighter line if I wanted to, right? And here I could click on this and bring this in a little bit and over a little bit. Okay, you see what I'm doing here, right? So we have this ability to change the coordination. Now, obviously, you can only do this particular part with the software, okay? But I just wanted to show you this little feature. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our program. We're going to start back at the beginning of our run there, all right? And there's our program, okay? Let's run that again. All right, so we're going to come back up here, forward. We're going to, yes, we want to change, go to that next line, reset that, and forward, and going back to the start and running the program. Okay, very simple. Moving that green round ball right there from this point to here. Now, that's just kind of an introductory to moving and working with the robot just a little bit. Now that I've kind of gave you a taste of what can be done, let's go ahead and work through the first lab, which is essentially Jog the Robot, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into coordinates, right? I'm going to choose joint, and then I'm just going to jog. These are my Cartesians, right? X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to just go ahead and let's zoom in a little bit so we can see. I'm going to jog and joint. So coordinate, joint, and now my speed's at 20%, right? So what was I? Oh, we got an error, so let's reset that. Coordinate, joint, and okay. You'll notice that is exactly what's going on is I'm just jogging the robot around, right? Stop that and go back. All right, let's go ahead and move that. So again, coordinate, joint, and then just watch your speed, and then you can move the robot around and joint, right? Okay, so there we go, and back up and out and in and around. Okay, now let's go ahead and up the speed just a little bit, right? And you got to be careful in the real world when you do this, because you could very easily crash a machine, or crash a robot, or crash the machine, or damage somebody, or hurt something, or hurt somebody. All right, so essentially that's it. We're going to put it in coordinates. We're going to hit joint, and then we will use our X, Y, or Z to jog our robot. That's the first lab. All right, the second lab is pretty simple. Coordinate, world. Okay. So we're going to do essentially the exact same thing. We're going to move our speed down just a little bit though. That's kind of fast. Let's move that over. I'll probably speed it up a little bit. Now notice the negatives. Notice the negative and the positive. Y, negative Y, positive Y, right? Negative X, positive X. Okay, very important. And you can test all of the mobility of the robot with these two, joint and world. There's a lot more options that we'll get into at a later time. So that's the second lab. All right, the third lab, pretty simple, is we got to be able to find our menu, right? And then navigate through the menu. That's it. That's it. How simple that lab is. Okay. That's essentially the third lab. Now, we also have function lab. Okay. So what they call a quick and or a full menu. So this would be the quick menu, function, and or the full menu. Okay. And when you come down here to next, let's go back to that main list here. You can enter that, and there are several other menu options as well. All right, so that's the third lab. And essentially the fourth lab was to change your speed right here. So we can go all the way up, all the way down. That's the fourth lab, all right? So that's pretty simple if you really think about it. Those are pretty simple tasks. We talked a little bit about changing this path, this robot path. We talked about moving the robot in joint and in world. We talked about our X, Y, and Z. We talked about our speed, right? Obviously, you see we had a couple of faults that we had to reset. So we actually covered quite a bit today in this lesson. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be putting up more and more videos. We'll work through this training manual together, all right? So until next time, this is Paul with Logix Magazine. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to add, put it down below. And remember, this video was made because I had a viewer ask for some robot videos. And I'll be doing more of these. I need to spend more time in this software while I have it. All right, so until next time, this is Paul with Logix Magazine. First time here, subscribe. If you want to follow me as I work through this training manual, then you're going to have to hit that bell so you know every time I produce a video, all right? Okay, so until next time, keep programming, my friends.